Good morning everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the second day of the SYM ADX TG launch event. I did get up a little bit late. I still have 25 minutes to get my ass in gear and get to breakfast. Yeah, the day yesterday, 1,200 kilometers on the scoot, plus drinking and eating and staying up till 2 a.m. does take a bit of a toll, but I am getting myself started and yeah, I'm a bit in a hurry. So I'm gonna go down for breakfast and see exactly what the day has in store for us. I do have the itinerary right here, and basically it says that 7 to 9 a.m. it's breakfast. It's currently 25 minutes to 9, so I got 25 minutes for that. And then we're gonna have a product presentation from 9, from 10 to 12 a photo shooting, lunch, then from 2 to 5 in the afternoon, test rides. Please bring your protective gear. It's a good thing I got my jacket with me. And then we got a dinner. So, I gotta get myself to breakfast and then we can see the product presentation. Let's go. Well, this is certainly an interesting breakfast area. And for the morning, a lot of protein. Scrambled eggs with bacon, with cheese, with tomatoes seasoned with olives and some feta cheese. Let's begin. I only have like 15 minutes to eat all of this and get my ass in gear.
For 11 consecutive years, SYM has held a top market position in the Greek market. Specifically in the scooter segment, it's reached as high as 35%. It's a great honour for us to have been chosen to present this remarkable product today. We've done our best to ensure that everything runs smoothly. Should you have any issues, we kindly ask for your understanding. Should you need any assistance during your stay, please do not hesitate to contact any of the Gorgolis or SYM executives, which will be available throughout the event. Thank you all for being here.
So the first group is getting underway. I am in the afternoon group. They're being led by an ADX 125 and a Joyride 300. In the test group we have ADX 400s and 300s, so ADX TGs. I am in the afternoon group, so I have to wait my turn. So let's get a good shot of them all leaving. There they go. And they're off. So I am in the second group in the afternoon, where I get to take the 400 on a 3-hour ride, and that's probably going to be the main video that you're probably going to see on Saturday. So you've already seen. I don't know yet. I haven't made up my mind on my schedule, but yeah, we'll see. This is interesting. This is fun. Alright, so it's almost 12 o'clock. We've had a presentation, we've had breakfast. The first group of people went out on their test rides. My test ride is, I think, at about 2 o'clock, but we're gonna go for lunch before that. But if you've seen on Thursday, today is Thursday, the first look video of the ADX TG 400, I absolutely destroyed this laptop trying to edit 1080p 30 fps video on it. It's only a little Intel Core M. It's something like 10 years old or something. It's one of those tablets, Asus T300s. I used it just to transfer files from my SD cards to my hard drives. I do have Premiere on it, and yeah, I wanted to get a video out for you guys as soon as possible, like on the day of the event. So that's when it came out. It's not the highest of quality, it's not my regular quality, but I tried to get some decent image and audio for you guys. But yeah, this is how it gets done if you want something this quick. Anyway, I'm gonna go for lunch. I actually wait for this thing to finish rendering and upload it, and then go for lunch, and then we're gonna head on test rides. And it's currently 2 o'clock, and it's test ride time because the guys are getting the scooters ready, cleaning them up a little bit. They've been on one session of test rides, and now the second session will start. The second session of which I am part, and I will be taking my ADX TG 400 for a 2-3 hour test ride. Got my gear all ready. It's over there, all packed up with the camera and the helmet and the jacket and everything, because we have to be safe apparently. But yeah, I'm gonna take it out for a ride, and I'll update you on the way and see exactly how it goes. Never been on a press ride like this, so it's gonna be interesting. Alright, so we took a bit of a breather, and after we were done filming, a couple of the guys from with the ADX 300s and some other people from dealers started going around and taking some pictures. I have to admit, let me hold the camera, I have to admit this thing is an absolute beast, at least. Riding it for 30 minutes, 1 hour, and riding it hard on this piece of road really showed off its potential. It's a motorcycle in disguise. The brakes are good. I don't know how much they will hold out, considering I did black out the disc a little bit with my hard braking, but yeah, it is what it is. But the machine itself is awesome. It's very well balanced and easy to ride, and interesting to have quite some fun with it. But the test continues, the day goes on, and I'm waiting for some proper off-road. But like I said, if you've seen the video of the first ride with this thing, I'm trying to put it out on Saturday. You probably already know what has happened during this photo shoot, but this is a vlog of the event itself. And now I've done my riding, I've done my shooting, and now I'm just waiting for what's next. Let's see what's next. Trying to hydrate a little bit and see what happens next. I'm back from the test ride, and people are taking apart my scoot because my Insta360 went somewhere in there. From the top, it went somewhere in there. And now I wanted to take it apart myself, but I'm not, of course, I'm not allowed to touch it. So they have the tech guys taking apart the scooter, trying to recover my camera. Yeah. Lesson learned. Put your cameras very well in their place so stuff like this doesn't happen and you don't make a nuisance of yourself. Oh well, you live and learn. Hardworking people fixing my stupidity. It happens. Well, with the grace of the good people from SYM, I have managed to get my camera back. It's a little bit, I'll just show you. It's a little bit nicked on the side. So this is a memory. This is from the test of the ADX TG, where it fell down and where I made a nuisance of myself. And I will be remembered as the idiot who lost his camera, and the tech guys had to take apart the scooter to get the camera back out. So I'm sorry for this, but you live and learn, and this was a moment of living and learning for me. Alright, so the sun has set, everything is done, and I've been to my room. I've started offloading all of my footage of today's ride. I am kind of curious to try something out with you guys, some interesting style of videos. One is definitely gonna be a pretty long first ride with the ADX TG with number 5 over here, that I made a complete nuisance of myself when my Insta360 dropped from here somewhere inside the scooter and ended somewhere in here, and yeah, kind of everybody got to know me because I was the guy that gave them a reason to take apart the scooter, and the guys from tech here had to work extra to take it apart and retrieve my camera. So yeah, hopefully I get called back for, I don't know, another test ride, another event like this, because honestly I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I want to be back again. And I want SYM to keep making stuff like this that is stupendously interesting, because while I might have been, where is one? Come on. All right, here we go. So I might have crapped a little bit on the ADX 300, saying that it's not quite a proper ADX, because it is kind of a, there we have it here, a Joyride 300 on stilts, because it kind of is. It does away with the flat floor, it raises the suspension a little bit, fills in this gap with fuel tank, so you have a decent fuel tank. But all in all, it's an it's a Joyride 300 that's a little bit on stilts. Not necessarily a bad thing, because the Joyride is an awesome scooter, and turn it into a little adventure scoot, it's great. But the ADX name means special. The ADX name means something that has no competition on the market. And this thing has no competition on the market. Let's shine a light on it. I mean, everything about it, from the front fork and the way it's tuned. Okay, it's not a Showa suspension, it's not a brand name suspension, a KYB or anything, but it's tuned very, very well. And the piece de la resistance, this rear multi-link off-road style suspension on this normal motorcycle swing arm. The chain drive we've seen in the TL, that's nothing new, but this suspension setup on the back, it's just in a different league to any other scooter I have ever ridden. The only thing that can come, turn off the light. The only thing that can be as impressive as this thing is the ADX 125, comparing it to other 125cc scooters. This, compared to any other scooter, regardless of CC, it's just in terms of suspension, it's in a different league. And remember, I have ridden off-road and on-road the Honda ADV 350 and the XADV 750. Trust me, this thing Off-roading has better suspension than those two options, even though those have, at least the 350 has Showa suspension. This is better, works better, does its job a lot more like a proper off-road suspension should, because it is a proper off-road suspension. SYM has sacrificed as much as they could possibly sacrifice in terms of luggage space, in terms of engine and transmission placement. They have sacrificed as much as possible to get this suspension in. And you might not like it because of the reduced luggage space and everything, but when you take it off-road and you actually try to do something with it off-road, you kind of understand why. And you kind of you start appreciating the decisions that were made to make this into a proper off-road scooter. I mean, it's not easy as a company to make decisions like this, because you know some customers are not gonna like it because of the storage space, because of the complicated chain drive. I'm also not a fan of the complicated chain drive, but you can't get off-road handling like this if you run a transmission system like this. You just can't. It's impossible. They've tried with the ADX 125, and that has great suspension. You still feel all that unsprung weight of the transmission and of the engine. This thing, you can take as much liberties with it off-road as your talent allows you. I'm not a talented off-road rider. I've had no off-road training, and I could manhandle this thing off-road like I was some kind of idiotic pro. Just lay your hand, and I had the traction control off and the ABS was in off-road mode with rear ABS off. It got a little bit sometimes away from me because I was a bit of an idiot and pushing it too hard, but I could easily get it back. That's surprising. That's how agile it is, and that's how easy it is to ride it. Even when I got into a bit of a pickle and almost made a fool of myself, I could easily put it back in line and keep it upright. Now, everybody's waiting inside. I'm gonna go have dinner, and we'll see what the rest of the night holds. I don't know if there's gonna be a party or something like this tonight. Who knows? Again, SYM ADX 400 launch event. It's awesome, and gonna be available in 2025 for purchase. And yeah, I can't wait to see it on the road in Romania, and I can actually take one for a test ride by myself and do the kind of stupid shit I like to do with my machines. Stick around. Anyway, let's get dinner. And good morning, everyone. It's the next day. Hey, Fred. It's the next day, like I said, and it's time I got my ass in gear very early in the morning, 26 minutes past 6, half past 6, you can call it. I didn't get nearly enough sleep last night. Dinner went on well into the night, past midnight, and yeah, but nothing I could vlog. It was just like talking, discussing the markets and everything, stuff I can't really vlog about. But it was fun, it was networking, it was entertaining. But now it's high time me and Fred covered the next 1,232 kilometers once again as quickly as we bloody possibly can. And because tomorrow morning I actually have to go to work. Goodbye to the ADX TG, the ADX 300. I don't ride the 300, we will ride that back in Romania when we have some extra time and when we have a registered unit. I'll ride it on my own terms. But yeah, the TG was an awesome machine, and really glad I got to experience it. So the event was an event to remember. It's a new experience for me. It's a new way of doing things, being catered around, and I really have to admit that SYM did pull out all the stops, especially with the test ride route and the off-road section. I was surprised. Usually on press rides like this, from what I've seen from other people and what I got told by journalists here that have been to other press rides, especially when they launch like off-road scooters, but yeah, you know, it's a scooter. The off-road section usually is just a half-paved road or something like that. It's never really an off-road section, it's just a light road. But this time, no, the off-road section was very, very gnarly and not something for a scooter, for a regular scooter. And the fact that they let us just go as fast as we wanted on that road and take as many liberties with the machine as we wanted just goes to show the confidence they have in it, and I'm completely surprised by it. But I can understand why, because riding it, especially on that kind of terrain, you understand why they are so confident in it, because the thing can handle it. They've put off-road suspension on it, and the thing can handle the rough road and the rough riding style on such a road. It's stupendously capable off-road, and you can have a lot of fun with it, you can take a lot of liberties. So very impressed with it, and very impressed with the event. Well organized, well put together. The hotel was excellent. The food was maybe a little bit too much, because everything was awesome and you kind of wanted to eat, to taste everything. And yeah, riding motorcycles and having an extremely full belly, not necessarily the best combination. Okay. When in Greece. So yeah, full bellies and riding motorcycles or scooters, not necessarily the best combination, but it is what it is. I did eat quite a lot, but then again, I also didn't get enough sleep. I am talking to you guys after about 4 hours of sleep, and that's not nearly enough sleep for me to be up at 6:30 in the morning as getting on the road. But I'll manage. I'll take it easy in the beginning. Once the sun comes up and my brain starts working, then it will be a little bit better. And the issue with time, unfortunately, I was thinking about trying to do a meetup while I was here, but it just wasn't in the cards. Yesterday I came back at 6 o'clock from my test ride, 6 o'clock, 6:30, something like that. I went in my room, I started offloading footage, backing up footage, so because that's my main priority after shooting, just download the footage off the SD cards and back it up to something, so the trip doesn't get messed up by some SD card failing. And by the time I was done with it, it was about 8 o'clock in the evening. Went to dinner. Dinner turned into conversations late into the night. And that's it. That's the event. A couple of hours later, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and I have to get my ass in gear and get on Fred and hit the road for another 1,200 kilometers. GPS says almost exactly like when we came. 10 minutes past 8 we will be at our destination. We will see about that. I plan to once again race the ETA on Google Maps. So I'm gonna shut my mouth now and pay attention to the road because it's still dark, and try to make it to the highway in one piece and get out of the Athens region and onto the main highways, heading up north, hitting once again toll after toll, making my way back to Romania.
Of all the things that are shiny and new, I'm the dull stone at the bottom of a pool, tossed by the jealous waves of the sea. I'm not as strong as I appear to be. Round by the deepest depths of the lake, I lay alone in the darkest place. In my sorrow, dream of the sun. I just
almost at the border, and this road is always so stupendous. This highway through the mountains, that's extremely curvy. Speed limit here sometimes is only 50 kilometers an hour because it's just so tight. But yeah, race is over. Took me about 6 hours to get from the hotel up to this point. We are, I think, like 10 or 20 kilometers away from the border, something like that. So soon entering Bulgaria, another 500 kilometers through Bulgaria, another 100 kilometers through Romania, and then I'll finally be home. It's a long ways away, but luckily the sun has come out and heated up all my gear, my pants and everything, because it was getting kind of chilly. And yeah, I was kind of feeling the cold a little bit. I did run with my jacket in full summer mode because this was Greece and it was supposed to be very warm in the morning, but it wasn't as warm as I was expecting. But now the sun has come out and it's properly warmed me up. It's midday. I am making very good time. Kind of like the same pace as when I came here. The same, about 100 kilometers every hour average speed with stops. So for me, I think Fred has got some serious space in him for long distance travel. Fuel consumption maybe could have been a little bit better, but I am getting about 300 kilometers to a tank riding like this pretty aggressively. If I would just bring down the speed to 110, 120, my cruising speed, then yeah, I could probably save another liter per 100 kilometers. But you know, it is what it is. And another toll, hold on. Hello, with card please. Thank you. And in case you're wondering, this is a quad lock mount with the, what is it, brake reservoir or clutch reservoir mount from quad lock. I do have the vibration dampeners, so this is what I use on the Zontes. And if you're asking me which mount to get for your bike, find the quad lock that fits your bike. I've been using quad lock for 5 years. I'm not sponsored by them. I bought everything from them with my own money, but they are good products, so I can wholeheartedly recommend them. They're good products. If you're looking for a good mount for your bike, then yeah, get this thing. You know, it is getting kind of tiring to do one run of 1,200 kilometers one way, do one day of event like filming and everything, and then another run back. It is getting kind of tiring. Granted, it's not helping the situation the fact that I slept both nights. I slept something like 4 hours, so that could have been a little bit improved. Note to self for future events: try to do a little less socializing and a little more sleeping, because yeah, I'm hurting a little bit now going back. Hurting in such a way that I'm actually thinking about taking a plane for EICMA, because Milan is an extra 500 kilometers more than this route was. And not only that, it's not in September when it's still warm outside, it's in November when yeah, through Serbia, Croatia and Slovenia it's gonna be quite cold, and I kinda need heated gear for that. So yeah, I need to get some sleep and rethink it after I'm fully rested, because currently as we speak I'm like yeah, I'm gonna be done with this trip, and then I'm done with cannonballing for at least a month or two. And EICMA is Milan is very far away. If this route was a 13-hour ride, Milan is gonna be something like a 16-17 hour ride. But yeah, we'll see. I still don't think I'm gonna get on a plane, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to think very well about my schedule for ACMA, when I leave, how am I gonna get my rest, how much I stay at the show, when do I upload, because those things are important, because I need to put those in order so I can get my my rest. If I want to do an iron butt there and an iron butt back after 2 days of running around the show to be able to sit on this thing for 17 hours and do an iron butt, I kind of need to be very well rested. Granted, I could break down the return leg into 2 sections. I might think of doing that, who knows. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Now currently we have a race between a truck and a bus. Luckily the bus is 10 kilometers an hour faster. Okay, you can move over now. Thank you. Thank you very much for your cooperation, Mr. Bus. Now I just gotta keep on trucking until I get to the border, and I am gonna take a break after the border. 1 to refill Fred, and 2 to hydrate and get some, I don't know, get an energy drink in me, get a Snickers, something with a little bit of sugar. I think my sugar levels are going down. Alright, so quick refueling break is done. Put my phone on charge. We still have 582 kilometers to go. I gave Fred a once over. This rear tire is getting kind of low on tread. Hopefully I can make it to Milan also with it. But yeah, everything is okay. I've checked the oil. The oil level is perfectly fine. Hasn't dropped at all ever since I left Bucharest. So I'm kind of impressed about that. It is to be expected of a liquid-cooled engine, but still, it's a nice surprise to see that riding it this hard and the oil level hasn't dropped at all. Usually, scooters do drink a bit of oil when you take them on the highway and when you do long distance with them. But not in this case. You know, I forgot to put my car door on charge, damn it. That's one thing about these long distance trips. Most of your stuff has to be recharged on the way. Even cardos and stuff like that won't take a full day's abuse. I've been listening to music on the cardo for the past 7 hours, and yeah, well, it started screaming, yelling at me to give it a bit of juice. So up until the next fuel station, or actually for the next half hour, come on, it's always tricky to get in there, I'm gonna put it on charge, turn it off, plug it in, and charge it. Put it like this here, should be fine. That's one thing I like about Fred. I mean, I got my phone on charge in the glove box. I still have another USB-C free there to charge either the mic of the DJI or the batteries of the DJI, but those have a lot more battery. Plus, I have another USB port up there to charge my cardo. So 3 USB ports to get everything on charge when I need them. I don't have to charge them one by one. I can charge them all together if I need to. Once again, somebody at Zontes thought about this when they decided to make a touring scooter. You have more than one thing to charge when you're on the road. And I really love to see that. It makes my life easier on the road. Just to have all these possibilities, it really makes my life a heck of a lot easier. Now, I'm sorry about the windshield because it's full of bugs, and I don't have the time to stop and clean it. My vision is not impaired. I am looking over the windshield even if it's in its high position. So yeah, you guys are just gonna have to deal with it. That's life on the road. You get bugs, you get dirty, but it's wonderful. I really enjoy it. So now, as far as I know, I have another fuel station about 260-270 kilometers, and that's gonna be the last fuel station in Bulgaria until we get to Romania, where I have another fuel station right at the border, after the border crossing. I'm gonna bomb it down through Bulgaria as quickly as possible to cover, we have about 500 kilometers to the border. I'm gonna try to do them as quickly as possible. GPS says, I think it's about 6 hours for the Bulgarian part. Maybe we can cut down another 10, 15, 20 minutes out of that time. Depends on how traffic is, because after this short little section of highway, we get into that gorge, that beautiful gorge that I saw coming here. And in that gorge for about 20 kilometers you can't do any overtake. There are delineators between the lanes in the middle. So if traffic is light and I don't end up behind a truck or anything, then I can bomb it down that road and make some good time. But if there is a truck, then I'm gonna have to ride behind it at its speed and just wait for the gorge to finish. Anyway, as it sits, I'm gonna make it home before 9 o'clock, which I'm quite happy with. Enough time for supper, enough time for spending a bit of time with the family, and getting ready for work tomorrow, because it's a Friday and I'm on the job. Yeah, so I had so I had Thursday to Tuesday off for this event in Greece, but Friday is a working day, so yeah, I'm going back to work. I need to get home as quickly as possible so I can unpack everything and get some shut-eye, because tomorrow is probably going to be a full day at work with parts and people asking for parts and messages and phone calls and everything. That's how it usually goes when I'm absent for a couple of days. When I come back, the first day it's a doozy. I'm completely full. I have to talk to 100 people. I have to sort everything out, and yeah. But yeah, it is what it is. Well, I think I filmed this road I don't know how many times, but just like all the others, this one is special because of reasons, and the reason being Fred is reaching Romania again, back after his expedition through Bulgaria and Greece all the way to Athens. Once entered in Romania, I consider the fact that he has completed his maiden voyage, and I have to say he passed all his tests with flying colors. I knew he was comfortable and I knew he was quick, but god damn it. A 350cc scooter that can maintain 140, 145 kilometers an hour cruising speeds. That's indicated speed. GPS, it was somewhere around the 135 kilometers an hour real world GPS speed. That's impressive for just a 350 that costs 6,000 euros or thereabouts. In some countries it's even cheaper. It's 5,000 something, like 5.5. Brand new with all the bells and whistles, and it can cover ground like that. It's been 12 hours and 10 minutes since I've been in the saddle today, and 2 days ago I did another 13.5 hours in the saddle. I'm fine. No backaches, my legs don't hurt, my legs aren't numb, my back isn't numb, my arms aren't numb, no vibrations. The suspension, although it's a little bit harsh in the city, once you get up to speed, it really gets a floaty feeling to it. It's kind of weird, but you get used to it quickly, and it dampens the bumps very well if you're going above 80-90 kilometers an hour, and the shocks are a little bit harder, and the suspension can really soak them up. Through the city, yeah, it's a little bit harsh. You can tell this thing was designed for the open road, for high speeds, not necessarily for doing city riding. You can do city riding, as I've been doing for the past month, but this is where it's happy, on the wide open road. About today's trip, we've covered 1,185 kilometers. in 12 hours and 10 minutes. So that's almost 100 kilometers an hour average speed, total average speed, including stops, including brakes, fuel stops, brakes for bio brakes, brakes for food, everything. Now I didn't stop a lot, I didn't do too many brakes, but it's good. About 100 kilometers an hour is an average speed, is a very good average speed. I can now do my calculations for EICMA, because for that road trip we have 1,700 kilometers to cover, so that's going to be about 17 to 18 hours. And I can do the math when I have to set off, because I want to arrive in Milan before, I don't know, like 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, because I want to get settled into my room and then go to the show at like 7:30 in the morning when the show opens. So yeah, now that I did this touring test with Fred and he passed with flying colors, I'm gonna have to service him, because at 10,000 kilometers I have to service him. Then I'm gonna open up, I think I'm gonna open up the transmission case and clean it, because I think that's what you do at 10,000 kilometers. Gonna do a filter change, gonna change all oils. Sorry, pardon, coming through. Whoa. Always forget about this thing. There we go. These are harsh. Please, no water, no water. I don't like the spraying things. There we go. Hard on the brakes, check it in. Okay, let's see. All cars. Now I'm gonna do my trick again, because I have to take my helmet off and everything. Alright, as per usual, the trick always works. Just say I came to the front because I have to park and take off all my gear and everything, and yeah, they just let you by, and then do whatever it takes to get out of here quickly, so nobody tells you anything or has the chance to tell you off. Now 10 minutes to 7. We're good for time. Seriously. I'm gonna stop for fuel again, just to fill them up, so I have fuel tomorrow to go to work and everything, and do my rounds around the city, because I have a couple of errands to run tomorrow morning. And then we're gonna head to Bucharest, another 71 kilometers left to go home, and we'll end it right as we enter the city, so we can have a final time and a final score. See you in a bit. Well, this is it. We're on the home stretch, only 14 kilometers left to go home. What an experience. What an experience in Athens, testing out the ADX TG. An awesome machine from SYM that I can hardly wait to see in Romania, in our showroom, and actually pick it apart bit by bit, and hopefully take it for a little adventure to see exactly what it's capable of, to see how far can you push that thing, because I think you can push it very, very far. And apart from that, what an experience to cannonball this machine. Zontes, what the hell have you built here? Now I know a lot of you have been asking, why didn't I wait for the G, the 368G, the adventure model? Well, I don't need an adventure scooter. I needed this. I needed the ability to go from Bucharest to Athens, 1,250 kilometers in 13 hours. That's what I needed. Adventure scooters are all nice, and the TG is awesome, and we'll see how it compares to the 368G from Zontes. There are a couple of big differences between them, like the Zontes, the G still uses the regular style transmission, which does have a lot of unsprung mass. So I'm not expecting it to feel as nimble off-road as the ADX TG. But I didn't want an off-road machine. I wanted this. I wanted a highway crushing monster, and this thing delivered. I mean, I did a couple of road trips with it, 200, 300, 400 kilometers, even 600 kilometers in a day, but nothing like this. This was bombing it down the highway as quickly as possible, trying to get from A to B as quickly as possible. This was cannonballing, and this is an awesome cannonball machine. I mean, I know it's not a Honda, it's not a Yamaha. I know the big fanboys will say Forza 350, ADV 350, X-Max 300. I'm sorry to tell you guys, I've ridden all three of them. They can't touch this thing when it comes to cannonballing. There's just no competition. This thing is in a different league. None of the three can hold these kinds of speeds for over 1,000 kilometers. And even at these kinds of speeds, this thing gets 300 kilometers of range. And it doesn't complain. It will hold speed. These are the speeds that I've been doing today since 6:30 a.m. and it's 8 o'clock in the evening. These are the speeds that I have been doing, between 140 and 150 kilometers an hour. Granted, real world is about 10 kilometers an hour less, but still, you can keep your Hondas, you can keep your Yamahas. They're great scooters, no doubt about it. But one, they don't have the underseat storage, the size of the underseat storage like this thing has. They don't have the comfort, the wind protection that this thing has. The Forza, sure, the Forza has an electrically adjustable windshield, and that's the only one that has an electrically adjustable windshield. But this comes with the heated grips, comes with the electrically adjustable windshield, comes with the big fuel tank, comes with a huge underseat storage, and it costs about 20% less than the other three. Not to mention the fact that this thing has 37 horsepower and the other three, none of them go past 30. So that's a 20% power increase compared to them, a lot more kit and accessories, and it still costs about 1,000, 1,500 euros less. Like I said, I'm not trying to convince you. If you want to buy a Honda or a Yamaha, then do it. But for what I needed, for what I required as an additional tool on this channel to go to as many events as possible, as quickly as possible, and in as much comfort as possible, this was the best choice. It has its flaws. In the city, it's very big. And it is, yeah, in the corners you can feel it's a big wallowy whale. But it will cover ground faster than it has any right to do so. And now, as we're entering the city of Bucharest, I am back home. 2,500 kilometers in 2 days. That's about 1,500 miles in 2 days. Over the span of 27 hours, 13 and a half hours going to Athens, and today another 13 and a half hours coming back. 1,500 miles, 2,500 kilometers. And the Scoot didn't even drink a drop of oil. You keep saying these Chinese copycats are pieces of shit. The proof is in the pudding, boys. The proof is in the pudding. Open your eyes and open your minds. The big manufacturers are sleeping, and the Chinese and the Taiwanese, oh, they're coming guns a-blazing. And this thing is a prime example of that. And not because I bought it or I liked it. I put it to the test. I put it through the ringer. It basically sat between 7,000 and 8,000 RPM for 27 hours and covered 2,500 kilometers, and it didn't even break a sweat. Like I said, I'm not trying to convince you. The proof is in the pudding. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this videos as I make my way home. Hope you guys enjoyed the ADX TG 400 and the experience at the press event, at the press launch. And hope to see you in the next video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care out there, everyone, and ride safe. Bye!